All right, so around 91% of 100 U.S. cities have seen a rent increase recently, and more than 38 million U.S. households have housing cost burdens, pushing more people to consider renting. Okay, so as renting increases, the need for do-it-yourself projects continues to rise. But one author details everything from squeaky floors and other issues to replacing light switches in his new book that launches this month. His name is Charles Byers. He joins us this morning. Here it is. It looks like you've got a lot of information in there. And the name of it is DIY for Renters, Don't Call the Landlord.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, that's a slippery slope, so to speak.
It is.
So to speak. But, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do without having to call the landlord.
Right. And in the book, in our introduction, we go through that specifically. We talk about, reading your rental lease, making sure you understand what the landlord will allow you to do, and some won't. But, when we're renting a house, for example, from a private individual versus a corporation, they're going to be very interested in trying to keep the property up, make sure the people that are living in there are happy, they're safe, and the conditions are healthy to live in. So a lot of times when a leaky trap occurs or a receptacle goes bad, people understand with the whole YouTube phenomenon now and the way things are, that people can do things. So we wrote this book to help people step by step. We have skill levels. So we talk about the novice person who just really might take the book and look at it and go, well, this doesn't work. So I'm going to contact my landlord, or we even talk about in the book about with the use of smartphones, text the landlord and say, hey, I have a problem with a GFCI receptacle in the bathroom. They may not even know what a GFCI receptacle is.
That's your plug, right?
Right, but they're calling in and saying to the landlord, I have a problem. Then the landlord can decide whether he wants to, help them out by giving them the information and the approval to go ahead and change that receptacle, or whether he'll call somebody in. A lot of the repairs in this book are so basic, and we write it with step-by-step instructions, list of materials, a list of tools that you're going to need, and we talk about things like how important it is just when you go to a hardware store or the home centers, take the receipt with you. Grab that receipt, because if something's wrong, you can take the time and go back, or even go on the website, key in the item number and say, I wanted an 1.5 inch trap washer and I got an 1.25 inch trap washer. They're not the same. They look the same, but by definition, they're different in size. So yeah.
So obviously your background is in repairs and tools, and you've got a mind for that, but you don't have to, because someone like me, I try to fix things before calling in an expert, because that can be expensive. And naturally, whenever something breaks at my house, it's like a holiday weekend.
There you go.
Right?
Right.
It's like Saturday, and you've got a holiday on Monday, and you got to pay those premiums, and no one's available, and this and that. And that's where this comes, because maybe you need an expert to do the full fix.
Right.
But temporarily, you can take care of it and go about your day.
Exactly. And that's what we really tried to do with this book. We didn't want to go over the top. We wanted to go from the basic novice to somebody who feels like somebody like yourself. I have enough experience to change that receptacle. So what do I need to change it? So step by step, we tell you how to turn the power off, how to make sure that the power's off. We give you 2 ways to make sure that the power's off. And then you go in and do the repair. And the nice thing I like about this book, the way we were actually able to do it, I'm a professor at Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So my students' projects are the actual pictures in this book.
Oh, that's cool.
And I used a student intern from the graphics and communications department, Abigail Rufero, who took all the pictures. So then that gave us the basis of everything that we needed to be really simple. Keep it simple and straightforward is the direction of this book.
Again, read your lease before you do anything, but it really can alleviate it, because you don't want to necessarily reach out to your landlord for every single little thing. You want to save it for the big things.
Right.
And in the long run, that could potentially keep you from getting a raise in your rent.
Exactly. And I talk about how important it is for people who live in a home, for example. They'll live there typically, more than a year. And after a year's lease, most places will go month to month automatic. Landlords want to have repeat business, so to speak, like every other entrepreneur, and they want to be able to be assured that the people that are there are going to take care of the property. This is a great way for a two-way street of cooperation and good living, in my mind.
All right. Charles Byers, DIY for Renters. Don't call the landlord. The book is available now. Just Google it, and you can get a copy for yourself. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.